welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who has just returned from a massive trip to Africa where he and his friends went over to reenact scenes from Mad Max Fury Road. But when they got there, they realized all their vehicles weren't shipped, so they had to recreate the chase scenes from Mad Max Fury Road in 1987 Ford Fiesta hatchbacks. It's John Levingood. How's it going, John Levingood?
Pretty good, Mark. I think that the only real chase scenes we did were when I took videos of little darkling beetles running across the desert surface, but I'll take it.
How did the Ford Fiestas hold up in that terrain?
You know, the biggest problem with a Ford Fiesta is not so much the terrain as it is my body mass. They do a lot of drifting on the sand when you're tugging around almost 300 pounds in it on a hard turn.
So you had to like put a couple people in the passenger seats, right? To kind of keep.
Well, and I just Fred Flintstone that shit. I had to jam my feet through the bottom to give it some hard drifting brakes.
Since it was a hatchback, were you able to get one of your was one of your like people in your group able to play guitar hanging out of the back of the hatchback?
They were, but while they were doing that, I had also affixed a camel pack with a needle so that I could then use that tubing to blood bag them so that I could survive with my desert sickness. It was whichever student wasn't performing the best. Is this the one that would be my blood bag?
Well, I'm really looking forward to the footage. I mean, you guys were planning this for 2 years. Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Where did you find 40 Ford Fiesta hatchbacks at the last minute?
Well, we just found a Nigerian warlord, and we probably had to steal them in some kind of a very clever trebuchet utilizing plan from Timeline.
So you basically had a Gone in 60 Seconds meets Timeline meets Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, a Treb Walker in 60 seconds. A furious Treb Walker in 60 seconds.
Now, I love trebuchets shooting Ford Fiesta hatchbacks, but how did they land without exploding?
Well, again, no, I Fred Flintstone did. So, that's why I do the squats. People think I do squats to push up a lot, but it was really for the shock absorption on the landing. So it was like a cartoon.
You were catching Ford Fiestas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow. Absolutely. like a pale General Orc from a Lord of the Rings movie.
Wait, he got smushed by a rock.
Right. I'm giving a little reality to my cartoonish notions.
Oh, wait, he didn't get smushed by a rock. He stepped out of the way of the rock.
He just sat there and watched it as it crushed his soldiers. That's right.
And then he spit on it.
I need to watch that guy. He was the most trebuchet defiant character perhaps in movie history.
I think I've lost all respect for him.
Well, he was pretty deformed, so I guess he was like, I'm going to win this war, but if that boulder's going to hit me, so be it.
Yeah. And he just spit on it though. Like, why did he spit on they're not going to see him spit on it. Did he just have to spit?
I mean, maybe he was trying to imbue his fellow uncrushed orcs with confidence, or maybe he just saw Gremlins when Baby Stripe Mogwai goes, Pchee! Remember, he projectile spews right next to Gizmo. Maybe it was that.
I think that's a new post I have to write about how that orc was influenced by Gremlin spitting.
Well, I mean, yeah, and who did it? Who wore it better? Was it Reagan from The Exorcist, or?
All right, before we get into the topic, do goblins spit?
Oh, I'm sure that goblins are almost perpetually spitting.
Is it drooling?
Well, I think they drool, but I'll bet that they just celebrate festooning otherwise clean things with their dirty saliva.
Oh, they just want to make everything gross?
I think so.
That makes sense.
They're pretty filthy.
Good. Now, I'm talking to the students of Harvard this weekend, and I didn't know how to answer that question, so I appreciate it. I'll cite you in the speech.
That's good. Okay. We can publish a paper on the salivary and excretory behavior of goblins.
Yeah, I'm talking to their law school, and they want to know about the Great Goblin case of 1738 in Latvia.
That's right.
So,
and drooling is involuntary salivary coverage, whereas spitting, that's voluntary. So there's a charge. It's like when your English bulldog is like drooling on the couch. You can't get angry. It's just the structure of how the critter is built.
The thing just
But when it
yeah, just
but when
drops
it licks,
looses. Yeah, oh yeah.
right. But when it licks, you can blame it. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up, listeners.
You know, I think anybody out there who's looking for advice for their bulldogs is now really taken care of.
Or they're goblins.
Yeah.
And even if it's like a Shaun of the Dead like pet garden zombie.
I gotta be honest with you, John. You remember that goblin I owned back in college? I feel terrible.
Yeah, what was his name? Fizzgig?
I never named it. I just said, hey, goblin.
The salacious goblin?
And it was like, my name is Fizzbig. I'm like, what?
I appreciate your goblin voice.
And I often questioned why I would own a living, breathing, talking goblin in college.
Well, hold on. I think that the answer to that is the same reason why dogs lick their butts, and that's because you could.
Yeah, you're right.
If I could have a pet zombie or goblin, I would have those things.
They don't clean. They don't do any of that stuff.
They're good guards.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
They're good burglar deterrents.
I like that.
Like the burglar doesn't even want to get through your yard because you have the garden zombie, like staked down like a junkyard dog.
Yep.
And then even if they get in the house, like they're like, oh no, they have a house goblin. Everything that's good is going to be covered in goblin saliva.
And we're not talking a Dobby goblin. We're talking like a gross goblin.
Yeah, not like a cute house goblin that's a servant that has like little adorable puppy eyes.
And a burlap sack. This is like a little gross goblin who wears...
Its eyes are bloodshot, and one of the eyes is like lazy, like sloth. It's not even lazy. It is just totally offset in the socket. Like,
and it just wears your old t-shirts.
It's one of those things like when someone who has like the most beaten up dog ever, and you're like, how could anyone love that dog? But it's their dog, so they love it. Like, but it's your hideous little goblin pet. So you like it and you cuddle it, even though like you got to take a bath every time you touch it.
Yeah, too bad. I left the door. I let the door open one time and he took off.
Oh no! Who's gonna feed that thing? What a rookie mistake on the goblin's part. He probably wandered out thinking he was gonna get scraps at a back door like a stray cat that won't go away. No. He was getting shooed away and rifles shot in the air.
That's right. Because if anybody sees a goblin, they're gonna freak out.
No one's gonna love you like us, goblin. You gotta come home.
if you're listening to this, Fizzbang. Oh, it's good to have you back, man.
Yeah. No, I was having a good time in Africa, but it's when you look online and you see what you're missing out. It's like I was in Africa looking at wild animals, and then I'd get on Facebook and I'd have total FOMO as I'd see like a podcast episode drop. And, oh. Meanwhile, like, a leopard is dragging a wild boar piglet up into a tree behind me.
Have you ever seen that Calvin and Hobbes cartoon strip where Calvin and Hobbes are sitting watching this beautiful sunset and Calvin's like, I bet we're missing some great TV.
Right, that's how I usually think, but thank God for DVR, right?
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
Without the DVR, I'd never see a sunset. I wouldn't have gone to Africa if it wasn't for the DVR. I've got like The Walking Dead and Channel Zero and all my shows. That's right. Yeah, sorry. Good thing, Africa.
We have a massive podcast today, John.
Well, I mean, it's so massive that people are probably going to be listening to it over a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a two-parter.
I mean, I really though, in terms of the epicness of the things that we will discuss, this could almost be like an 18-parter with a part 2, a son of, revenge of, bride of, and all sorts of derivative sequels.
Goes to space.
Oh yeah, all sorts of verses. Fights like Godzilla had. Godzilla fought everything.
Yeah, there's like 1 billion Godzilla movies.
Godzilla versus insert thing here.
That's right.
Godzilla versus Fizzgig.
Yeah! So we were talking one day, and you were like, Mark, you've kind of involuntarily become one of the premier sea monster writers out there.
It's the sea monster information destination at Movies, Films, and Flicks. You did all these data posts. You did the Merman. You did the Sea Eater. I think that's what it's called, from Waterworld. You've covered like 4 different in detail articles, almost like academic articles about amusingly questionable scenes involving sea beasts.
So then that led us to be like, hey, what is the best sea beast? And then you and I just threw out a ton of different sea beasts, and we're like, hey, let's do a tournament, right? That's
Done.
pretty easy. We talked for about 45 minutes one day. We put the brackets together. We figured out the sea beasts. We kind of talked it through. And casually on Facebook, I was like, yeah, I'll take care of the listener questions. It's not a problem. So I put a link on Facebook. Hey guys, we're looking for listener questions. We'd love to hear what you think about sea beasts. And it just exploded.
Dude, clearly. You know how you think that everything's on the internet? You want to ask an obscure question about a movie? It's on Reddit somewhere with 1,000 words explaining it. But clearly the internet has never had a good outlet for people to word vomit their sea beast movie questions.
It was like people, like I was getting text messages, Facebook messages. I was getting Facebook message after Facebook, like people that I never hear from were asking me questions.
And you're like, you listen to the pod?
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? Like, I was just getting like stream of consciousness questions. And we're just talking a lot. And we got so many good questions. We're like, you know what? Well, let's just do a 2-part pod where we have the tournament and we kind of put the questions in the tournament. It kind of helps us talk about each beast. And I actually made a pretty good looking breakdown here, man. I used like bold font and red font and yellow font. I was
That's
like,
good. Yeah. And for the listener on the go, a lot of times if you gave us a listener question, you just want to hear that because you have a busy day at work, to listen in the first 15 minutes of the pod and then jump to halftime right after halftime. Well, today, yeah, like you've said, we've got them peppered all the way through. So if we're going to talk about the Kraken later and you had a question about the Kraken, that's probably where that listener questioner is going to appear.
So you're going to have to listen to all this. And I guarantee
I know.
I want to guarantee something, John.
Uh-oh.
When people hear some of these sea monsters, they're going to be hooping and hollering. They're going to be in their cars.
Oh, people are going to get upset. They're going to be kicking at the screen.
Yep. And listen, guys, this is just our humble list. All right. So we're going to bring up some great sea monsters. Some are going to be excluded. Some are going to be included that you don't want. But I guarantee there's going to be some of them in here that you're just like, yeehaw! Like, so I want you to sit back, relax, and get ready for our Sea Beast extravaganza. But before we get into it, we're going to open the podcast with, I think, some listener questions. And,
I don't even know if do they get a distinction? Like these are the opening listener questions.
Yeah, these are the opening listening questions before we get to the tournament, which leads us to more questions.
Right.
But I guarantee once you leave this podcast, these 2 parts, you will have an in-depth knowledge of sea beasts that you never thought you needed, but you realize that you did.
Mm-hmm.
It's like owning a goblin.
It's like it's going to hit you right in your heart. Yeah. You're going to feel a sense of warmth and chilling cold water filled with sea beasts. They're going to...
It's going to feel like the time when Sizzlebang, the goblin, got a hold of my potato gun and shot me with it.
Sizzlebang? I'll bet that's a cool goblin to party with.
It sounds like a nu metal band, doesn't it?
At the beginning of the party. But like the last third of the party, you don't want to hang out with Sizzlebang. You're going to get arrested or shit's getting broken.
You're going to go somewhere weird.
Sizzlebang. He's like the early 90s like drug lord movie character that gets you in the wrong kind of heat.
Yeah, and you have a night. What was that movie, Trespass, with Emilio Estevez? You're going to have one of those nights with him.
Trespass.
All right, so the first question comes from Danny. And, all right, I feel like there's an octopus in the Goonies, but I don't really remember it. Are there multiple cuts? Which is OGC, official Goonies canon? What even happens? Did Sloth wrestle it to submission? Mama Fratelli become bait? Someone help.
Okay, wait, can I just open with this? So, I recently read some articles on Facebook, called like 20 examples of the Mandela effect. You know the Mandela effect, Mark?
What's that?
It's based around Nelson Mandela, who was incarcerated in the early 80s, like way in the early 80s. And then for some reason, the world collectively thought and actively wrote or said that he had died in prison in the 1980s. When really, he just died a couple years ago. So they call the Mandela effect when people collectively misremember something. It's almost like a sociological phenomenon. And this Goonies thing, when I read this question, I was thinking, there was no octopus in the Goonies. Wait, was there an octopus in the Goonies? And I know I've seen that movie a bunch of times, and it's just like, it's almost like a memory, like a dream that you can't remember. And I was like, was there an octopus? So I'm sorry, this is a great example, I think, of the Mandela effect from an obscure movie cut.
When I learned the answer to this, I wanted to pick somebody up and run around the block with them.
Were they small?
No, 3 people, large people. I wanted to pick up a Ford Fiesta and just run around with it. A Fjord Fiesta? What's that, like a boat?
It's like a Norse Fiesta. It's a Viking party.
You can drive it into the water. So, all right, here's what happened. In the, early 90s, right? Disney played the Goonies on their channel. But there's like there's some lewd stuff in there when he tries like look in the girl's skirt and everything, some swear words. So they cut a lot of stuff out. So they needed it to be longer. So when they originally filmed Goonies, there was an octopus scene. And they re-added it into the cut that played on the Disney Channel. It's not on the DVD. It's not on the VHS. It's it's not anywhere. But I watched this as a kid on the Disney Channel. And I remember seeing this scene and just going, wait. And then it passed. I couldn't rewind it. I couldn't fast forward it. I don't even think I was at my house. So for the last, I'm telling you, 25 years, in my head, I'm like, there has been an octopus. Like, I saw it. And I've never seen it before, and I didn't know, but I kind of put it behind me. And when he asked me this question, I went on YouTube, saw the scene, remembered it, and this is going to sound weird. I forgot it. I don't know why I forgot it after I watched on YouTube. And I was reading on this website, cbr.com. That's what happened. They put it on the Disney Channel, but it wasn't on the VHS. So kids watched it on TV, and unless they were recording it, they had no recollection of it when it played later on.
That's so weird, dude. This is exactly some Mandela effect shit. And I'll bet that you were thinking of it like, was I drunk when I saw it? But of course, you were like 10. So Probably not.
I did watch Surf Ninjas while I was, I think, almost concussed one time. And that's like, I would compare those similar movie watching experiences. This is a blur.
So can we talk about this scene? Because this has some pretty serious implications to marine biology.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. And I think it was wise for them to cut it.
When the scene is only like 2 minutes long, and it's easy to find on YouTube for listeners again, but like when you first see this octopus, you just see a tentacle do some little tentacle thing, like it has a mind of its own, and then it rises above the water level, so you see its face. Something that no octopus hunting anything in the history of octopus would do. And it's looking, and then it goes like back down under the water and starts toying with people, and it reminds me of like a baby hippo being kind of cute. The way that it looks over the water surface, like a Disney animal in Bambi or something. And then it starts wrestling people. And I swear this must be the physically weakest giant octopus or squid in movie history.
Oh, I would put money on that for sure.
Like kids are straight up overpowering this thing. It's peeking out of the water like a buffoon.
In the clip, did Data punch it with a punching glove?
I didn't know. He didn't, but he defeated it by feeding it a camera.
See, that's what's weird. I specifically remember the octopus getting punched in the face when I was a kid.
I mean, well, he punches Josh Brolin in the face, doesn't he?
Wait, with the punching thing?
Yeah. Isn't there a scene where one of the guys is trying to grab the kids and then it pops out and punches like Josh Brolin in the face or the other brother?
I swore that the octopus got punched in the face by a punching glove.
No. I'm sorry, not in the face. It was Joe Pantaleone getting hit in the balls.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
That's what it was. I got it wrong.
But I swore. And so when I watched it again, I'm like, I think there's different cuts.
Like, well, clearly there's at least 2.
I like this, and then that's an expensive octopus. They wasted a lot of money on that octopus.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the greatest effect, but you know, that's a lot of materials that someone had to put together to make that thing work. And then the water scene.
They had to shoot in a tank. That's expensive.
When I saw that scene, I gotta say, again, it really was like a fever dream where you don't remember the dream when you wake up, but it seemed so familiar, and yet I felt like I was watching it for the first time as that mischievous tentacled hippo baby just poked its head out like,
Hey, what's up, guys? I've been lonely in here.
This is actually a really good question, because even though there is an answer, whether or not we're really nailing it, like I'm learning that I didn't even remember that I saw this. This is so weird.
Yeah, it went out of my memory. But I'm telling you, dude, it got punched when I saw it on TV.
Danny, who sent us the question, I really hope that my health insurance covers the copay, or just leaves me with a little copay here for this hypnotherapy.
You watch the scene though and you forget it. I don't know what, it's like some video drone stuff now.
Well, because because you're watching something that you feel like you haven't seen, that doesn't really belong in your memory in the movie that it's supposed to be in. So it's almost like your mind keeps dismissing. Because how many times have you seen the Goonies without an octopus? Answer's probably a lot. So when someone's like, dude, there was an octopus in the Goonies, you're like, no. Yeah. It's like the Mandela effect. Someone's like, oh yeah, Nelson Mandela is finally getting out of prison. You're like, no, he died 30 years ago. It's like, no, he just got out of prison. You're like, nope, he's dead. I mean, he is dead now. He is dead now, but when people were saying this stuff 5 years ago, he wasn't.
This rocked my world.
That was a good question.
Yeah, very good. Let's jump to the second one. And it's, how long did it take for Luke to be comfortable enough to milk that sea cow in The Last Jedi? I'm assuming he didn't show up to the island and immediately start milking it.
Okay, I want to see the very first time that he approached that alien sea cow and see how that went down. Or even the first 5 times. Was there a development to this relationship? Was it passive from the start? Was it a battle?
I'm assuming, right, that the keepers on the island knew that it had milk, right?
Well, there's a funny thing here, though, and that's that in nature, animals do not simply produce milk unless they have young for whom to produce it. So I'm left wondering now, is he stealing an alien sea cow baby's milk, or is he somehow stimulating its udders so regularly that after the baby has grown up or, didn't need to feed anymore, he's just kept the hormonal response in this mother sea cow thing? But this is, no matter how you look at it, there's a weird relationship that developed here.
So even if you know, like, let's say the people at the island are like, listen, Luke, we've been getting you milk for 2 weeks. You got to go get your own. Because the people at the island are probably like...
He shoves a Snuffleupagus baby out of the way.
Yeah.
Because they have that weird nose. Like, he shoves that Snuffleupagus baby out of the way, and he just gets in there, and the mom just, looks down like, okay.
I mean, he probably didn't have a jar. It looked like he had fine-tuned his milking process. Like, he probably started with a bucket.
Well, it's okay. That sea cow thing, by the way, was sitting there like Ralph from The Simpsons would when he drank too much beer.
Yeah, I mean, that thing was chilling.
Just slumped back on its, bar stool sea rock.
That's the most relaxed beast I've ever seen.
Yep, looking down, someone's, you see the dumbfounded face. Yep, someone's milking me. This is fine.
And
he drinks it right in front of the animal.
That means it's a pattern.
Oh, clearly this has happened 30 times. Or hundreds.
Yeah, because they say he's been there for 2 years.
I mean, this is frequent. Is that every day at breakfast? I don't know.
He has a routine, right? He has a daily routine.
Apparently, man. This routine just couldn't have been so smooth the first half dozen times. I wanna see the skirmish that ensued the first time he reached his forefinger and thumb towards that creature's udder. It couldn't have been welcomed.
Was he hesitant? Was he like,
I hope so. Was it like an 8th grader who's never seen a boob before? I don't know.
I don't know. Because it got to the point where he's just drinking it for comedic effect.
Dude, he just dove in. That was a deliberately haphazard chug.
I'm saying it took him 2 months.
I mean, or a very patient week.
I think
Like,
they got him milk at first, and then he built up the courage.
it takes a lot of courage to drink green milk, no matter how easy it comes to you.
Yeah, because I don't think that sea beast was like a cow, because monsters in these movies are really smart, right?
What if that was the first time he ever did it, and it just happened to be easy, and he didn't know that green milk meant that you were going to get really sick?
He's like, I'm gonna play this off.
And he doesn't know what milk's supposed to taste like. He just knows it's nutritious. So he just drank it like someone eating or drinking like wheat juice for the first time, that wheatgrass juice.
Can I ask you a question, John?
You can.
If you're living on an island where there's no washing machines and you have a limited amount of clothes, would you chug milk and purposely have it spill on your clothes?
And then I'd fill a bucket with it and I'd scrub my clothes in that green milk.
Like, I would be as clean as possible if I was living by myself. I don't want to wash my clothes every day.
Well, remember in episode 1 when they put on their breathers on their nose and then they go swimming into super giant sea beast waters?
Yeah.
Like, what if there's just a device that they have that's like little nanites? What if the midichlorians do cleaning services?
Oh, like little nanobots cleaning?
Yeah, they're like nanites. They just crawl into the fabrics. Not of being, but of their clothes, and just take out the stains.
All right, so I'd pour milk. It would be like a 1980s hair metal band video with all the water flying on people. I'd just be dumping milk everywhere.
And then just like in Virtuosity, when Russell Crowe's arm reformed from the nanites, when he got some glass for some reason, again, these little things, they just go, bzzz, you pour milk right on yourself, you watch the stain go away.
All right, that's the answer. Nanobites clean milk stains.
That's right.
All right, so the third one is, what would happen if they made a movie that combined Session 9 and Mega Shark? I say this because asbestos and large sharks are scary, and this is from Doug.
So I just want to know, did the asylum, which was in the middle of a countryside, suddenly flood with water and get filled with like deep blue sea sharks? And were these very large sharks just floating dead in this poisonous water afterwards? Or is a shark hunting them? Or is it not a shark, but one of the crazy ex-patients of the Session 9 asylum hunting people and making it look like a giant shark is killing them when it happens to be flooded?
That's a heck of a conspiracy.
Session 9 is
No. What about
my hands
this?
are in the air. I'm literally waving my hands in the air, Mark, as I say my crazy things.
You're lifting a Ford Fiesta over your head. What about this? Alcatraz. A team has to go clean Alcatraz, and they're trapped because of a giant shark around the island.
I heard the Disney Channel aired an original cut that had sharks swimming through Alcatraz at Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. Everyone forgot it because it only aired a couple times.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Because The Rock was playing on the Disney Channel.
All right, so the mega shark would kill anything, right? That's in the water.
I mean, if it can get to them. I mean, the mega shark was like 50 feet, wasn't it, in those movies, in those sci-fi movie of the week?
I think it was
flicks?
longer because it was able to propel itself out of the ocean.
I mean,
right?
that thing was nonsense. But you wrote an article about that.
Oh yeah, way back in the day.
We forgot about that when I was listing all the CP's articles you've done.
Holy crap! I've forgotten more posts than I've written.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so like, what would happen? What would happen if, like, all right, so they're robbing a place, right? But it's oh gosh, it's like Waterworld. Oh wait, what about this? What if like the one place left on Earth was a old mental hospital filled with asbestos in Waterworld?
Yeah, in the sharks, I don't know. You're just being chased down the hallways of this asylum. Like these corridor chases, like Hard Rain on the jet skis. You're just fleeing from sharks.
Like Deep Blue Sea in the kitchen.
Like Deep Blue Sea in the kitchen.
But you have to
just
hide
like
next
that.
to asbestos. It's like when those people have to hide in dirt and stuff, or like hide in poop. Like in that movie Headhunters, this guy puts himself in like, he gets covered in poop. Or like...
That's like what... The Arnold Schwarzenegger, if he was there back in 1987, he would have said, you could have just used mud.
Yeah. You could have just used mud. So, I think this movie would be terrifying.
I mean, terrifying, but ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just be like, come on.
Like, I thought that Shark Night 3D was ridiculous when some bad guy apparently transported all these exotic saltwater shark species to a damn lake in, I don't know, Arkansas or wherever it was. And now this makes Shark Night 3D seem like the very practical approach to domestic shark terrorism.
I applaud this guy. All right. Well, want to move on to the topic?
I mean, we're kind of there, but yeah, we should
Right.
give this a proper introduction.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with what is our definition of a sea creature, but we have some questions that'll help us narrow down what we're looking for.
Right, because we're not just saying that a starfish is a sea creature.
Yeah, like, we're saying, like, all right, so people, when I brought this up to people, are like, yeah, Jaws. But we're talking sea monsters, sea creatures. Jaws, yes, is a very scary shark, but it didn't make the cut because it's just a shark. We added the shark from Jaws 4 because it remembers and wants revenge.
Right. Jaws
Like-
1, just a really big shark that happened to be hungry off the coast of New York.
Yeah. And then Jaws 4 is a telepathic shark.
Clearly. There's something going on.
So one of our questions is from Robert. How big do you have to be considered a sea beast? Measurement in feet, please.
Now, this is kind of complicated because I actually view this as, is it a solo beast? Is it a school of creatures or is it a family? And also, is it intelligent or not? I think that affects it too.
Yeah. I would say our shortest sea beast is 6 foot.
So if it is an intelligent sea beast, I will say that you got like Deep Star 6 and Leviathan, and those creatures are like 7 to 10 feet.
Yeah.
Right? But they're intelligent. But what happens in a piranha movie when you have a school of piranhas? I'd be tempted to call them a sea beast if and only if you had 100 piranhas.
So 100 piranhas equals 1 sea beast?
Right. Is a school, but one piranha doesn't cut it. One piranha is just like a ow, and you slap it and it's dead.
Gotcha. So yeah, if you're by yourself small enough to be smushed, you're not part of this list.
But if you're a solo, unintelligent sea beast, I'm gonna say at least Jaws size, like at least 26 feet.
We also have sea beasts in here that are like 3 stories tall. No, like more than that.
Oh yeah.
Several
Yeah,
hundred
I mean,
feet.
we've got one that, yeah, several hundred indeed.
So we anywhere
A
from
few.
So on our list we have anywhere from 6 to 500 feet tall.
Sounds about right.
All right, cool.
So at least 6 feet. At least 6 feet with numerous asterisks.
The second question is from Tom, and it's like, are the aliens in Battleship sea creatures?
I don't think they are. I
Nah.
think they just had a very seaworthy vehicle, but they were just like strolling around in Hawaii.
Yeah, they had like gas in their helmets. I read some really crazy Wikipedia thing that said they're cave dwellers from another planet who are refugees.
I'd buy that. My only question would be, how did they happen to have spacecrafts that were so good in the water?
They said those were for mining.
What's the hopping effect then? When it kind of hops?
It's like
Through the water?
it's like a jackhammer, but like a blaster.
So it's just like belly bumping the ground below it,
Yeah.
or the ceiling above it. It's just like a beached manatee flailing around.
Basically.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, at least there's a reason out there for it. But yeah. So yeah, my vote's in too. Not sea creatures.
And then he asks, are the ocean-dwelling aliens in the abyss sea creatures? They're sea... I look
Now
at them
there,
as-
I want.
They're sea people.
Those
Things.
are were jellyfish. Those are jellyfish people.
Yeah, but they're intelligent. They've been around forever.
Well, so something random popped in my head, right? You know all the stories of Atlantis and a lot of the movies harken to this, that Atlantis, albeit very far back in history in this lost city under the sea, was known to have a technology never known to man. And so I wonder if they could, instead of being aliens, just as well be our Atlanteans
Yeah.
lost in the super deeps.
You know what's interesting?
Or they're just jellyfish people aliens.
I wonder if he's going to introduce them in the Avatar sequels.
The jellyfish people?
Yeah.
Could happen.
But they're not sea monsters or sea beasts because they're intelligent species. Like they're dudes.
Right, and
they're women. Like
they're dudes, right. That is a bro.
yeah. They're just kind of like, hey guys. A sea beast is not someone that's like, hey y'all, we have great technology. Come party with us.
And they would have Doug Jones play it.
Yeah, exactly. So they are not sea beasts. They are in the sea. They exist in the sea. They're just more sea jelly people.
Sea jelly people.
That's right. They do not warrant
beastdom.
Beastdom. Yeah, there we go.
They are not eating people. If you are getting out of the water while it is chasing you, it may grab you and pull you in to have a conversation with you, but you will not pull yourself from the water missing half of a leg because it bit it.
If you can play chess with with one of them, they're not a sea beast.
Right, if you can play chess with it.
All right. And the next question is from Meg, and it's like, the creatures in the mist, like the chill in water, can they be considered sea mist beasts?
I gotta tell you, so one of the creatures that attacks at the backloading dock, that attacks the guy who played Sherman in American Pie.
Shermanator.
That is a tentacle monster, even though the tentacles open up into those like claw-ish fangy things. And then when they went outside and they saw that giant monster with the 4 legs, it also had these huge crab-like claws. So that was just a big land crab. So I'm just thinking that a lot of these things are sea beasts that are just kind of like wandering into the shoreline of Stephen King's probably coastal city that is being ravaged by this interdimensional rift.
That's a good point. I guess you had the spiders who were more land, but some of these things were really covered in mist. Like
True, yeah. There were the spiders, and those flies were probably deliberately designed after robber flies in nature, which are not coastal, but there are a lot of families of flies that are linked to the coast, like shore flies.
Ooh. So they probably came from somewhere else, but since they're on land, we didn't include them.
There are spiders that hang out by coastlines too, though. They could have just been coastline acid spiderweb spiders.
I like the way you phrase that. Like I pictured a beach towel.
The coastline, they're just hanging out, tracing the tan.
All right, so
the brother with the money can be the man on the beach you're strolling, real high rolling.
So they can be considered sea mist beasts.
I think so, man. I think that this is almost like the Lovecraftian Deep Ones notion, where these creatures come and ravage the land, literally land, but they have perhaps emerged from the deep of another dimension and are now terrestrial and surviving in this artificial atmosphere of the mist that has pervaded the land. Was this a Pacific Northwest or a like a New England thing, by the way? Because Stephen King usually likes the Northeast, but it felt like it was the Pacific Northwest.
Weren't they coming from New York? Weren't they like City Boy?
Were they? Okay, because I felt like there was a big steep crag near Andre Brower and Thomas Jane's house, and that made me think of the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, I think it was. You're right, because there's not along the coast on the Northeast. There's nothing like that.
Like, does that happen in Maine? Maybe that happens in Maine, and I just don't know anything about that.
A lot of his stuff does take place in Maine.
Yeah, he likes it up there. I like it up there too. Good breweries. Good breweries in New England.
Good sea mist beasts.
Good seafood. Because, I mean, the sea beasts, they gotta eat something. So there are more sea beasts, there's probably more good seafood.
Oh, they go to where the food is.
Fact.
Alright, let's get into the rules here real quick. I know we've kind of talked about what we think is a sea beast, but we're going to get into the rules. First, we're not looking for the toughest sea creature.
Nope, bigger is not better.
Great. Does it accomplish its mission? Many sea beasts on this list do not accomplish their mission.
Like, but what are we talking about? Like, in Jaws, we just mean eat everyone in the New York coast, and a kaiju might be world domination, and humanoids from the deep might be mating with humans.
Does it eat Kevin Costner?
Right, does it eat Kevin Costner? That's a goal.
Right, like, is it successful? 3, is it cool looking? Because sea beast's gotta be cool looking.
I mean, this might be what drew people into the whole Abyss question, because those jellyfish people looked chic.
Yeah, they look like they should have some Nespresso coffee. Not like cool. Oh, wait, not like, yeah, are they like, do they just look neat? Like, I don't want,
Yeah,
they look pretty neat.
they were snazzy.
Yeah. They were almost too good looking for this list.
Yeah, there's that movie coming out that's very Lovecraftian that has Ray Stevenson. It's called, what is it called? Like Cold Water? Do you know what I'm talking about? It has, so it looks like it's going on, again, Lovecraftian notion of deep ones, where these fish people are assaulting these two humans stationed in a lighthouse in what I'm guessing is the early 1900s.
What?
Oh, trailer looks fantastic. It looks like the movie Dagon, which was also a Lovecraftian-based movie from like 2004 or 7, meets The Descent but without the gore, and with fish people on a rocky island.
Between that and The Meg, I think those are my two favorite 2018 movies.
Pretty sure it's called Cold Water. When we do our halftime, Mark is probably going to go check that out and then come back and report to you with his reaction.
I'm going to run around the block and I'll be winded.
You're going to pick up a fish person and run around the block.
How surprised would that fish person be?
I got to tell you, they're worried about drying out, so they're really hopeful that you're going to run fast to get them back to the water.
Yeah, you're right. They're like, I'm going to attack you. No, I'm going to pick you up and run around with you.
Right. I mean, they get out of the water just long enough to take a swipe at Ray Stevenson, and then I assume they have to rehydrate.
Yeah, they have to refill. And then the last is, most importantly, did we like it? So there's a lot of CBs, but I think the one at the end we both kind of agreed on. We both.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the quiet decider for almost every outcome I think we're going to see.
You know what? The thing that wins, we hate.
Right.
All right, you ready for the first round?
I am prepared. I am braced. By the way, Mark, how many different sea creatures will we discuss over the course of this 2-part podcast?
16.
And that does not count, by the way, listener questions that may not overlap them or things that we happen to mention by comparison. These are specifically the things that were put into Mark's bracket.
Yep, we have 16, and then we're going to answer listener questions, which also feature other beasts. But
and realistically, we're probably going to talk about 56.
Yeah, I think 56 is safe. I like the fish.
We've already talked about 16.
I don't think fish people would want to fight Ray Stevenson, though. I think he would wallop them.
I think that after we do both of these podcasts on these sea beasts, in the following podcast, I will introduce an exact count as to the number of different movie aquatic beings that we refer to.
I love it. Let's do it. All right. So
my guess is 56.
I'm going 72.
Okay, you're not going to Price is Right me and say 57 then. Nope. 72.
Is that fair? That's a good guess.
56 and 72. I like that. We're going to see where it is.
All right. So and I have this division. It's called the Smarts division. And it is the merman from Cabin in the Woods versus the boss kaiju, the Slattern from Pacific Rim. So,
and that was the category 5, right? Wasn't that the only category 5 in the movie?
Yep. And yeah, only category 5. It was what? It had 3 heads on its, it had 3 tails. Like its tail split into 3 different heads that had spears. It had a bone in its chest. It had a roar that could create sound waves. I mean, this thing was the boss kaiju. This is what you send out to wipe everybody out.
It could spin and make like a big whirlpool, and then it was just a big tough.
Yep. Can I explain something to you? Or can I tell you something?
You can.
I don't like animals that spin.
I think that when this creature spins, it looks like just nonsense on screen.
Yeah, because you can't see it. It's
just...
Doesn't it spin to create like a bunch of sand in the water? So it's a mess?
It was making a whirlpool that was sucking the Jaegers to it.
Any creature like that should never lose any battle.
Well, I mean, this goes back to Greek mythology. When, what was it, in the Odyssey, when there was Scylla and Charybdis on their journey home, and Scylla was the tentacled creature, and which I think was linked historically to the sirens as the tips of her tentacles, and then Charybdis was kind of like the why can't I think, episode 4, Mark. Episode 4, football.
Yeah.
The creature. What was that called in Star Wars? The pit creature.
Sarlacc pit?
So it's like a sarlacc pit in the water that creates a whirlpool that ships get sucked into. That's what Charybdis was. And so it seems to me that this creature is a combination of both. It is a tentacled beast that also creates a dangerous whirlpool.
You know what the term slattern means, actually?
Probably something gross.
It dates back to the 17th century, and it refers to a sexually promiscuous or dirty and untidy woman.
Oh my god, wait, that's probably where the word slut comes from.
Oh, wow.
I have to ask one of our listeners' mothers, I won't say her name on the show. She's an English teacher who always has an interest in the old English roots, the words that we think are kind of like these, what would you call it, urban dictionary things from the last 100 years? No. Like words like, like the C-bomb or the F-bomb are really old words. This might be where slut comes from.
Ooh. I mean, this thing doesn't...
I'm gonna ask her.
I mean, this thing doesn't get, I don't know. Did you have any fondness for this big beast? It looked cool.
This was something where the moment it comes out, well, first off, they're like, oh my god, it's a category 5. So your eyes widen because you know how tough, like, even the 3s were for our Jaegers, right? But so you hear it's a 5, you're like, okay, this is the super big bad. This is the extra large bad guy on the screen when you're playing the arcade Double Dragon in the late 80s, right? But once it was there, I was just like, oh. And it kind of reminded me of a less cool version, even though the CGI is awesome and all, of the demon prince that emerged from the living room floor in the 1987 horror movie The Gate.
Well, that's interesting. And they also wanted it to look like the devil.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it had kind of like a horny thing going on, like it was a dragon, but I was not impressed.
I like the other guys.
The other ones were all cooler. They all had a cool personality, both in appearance, behavior, and fighting style. Now, this thing had its own fighting style, whatever. It was a little tentacle monster that did a spinny Tasmanian devil in the water. But other than that, I just, nah. I like the other ones more.
If you send this one up to be the boss, it should not lose. So, and it did lose. So, Merman's moving on.
Dude, Merman, which we're only not talking about more now because we're going to discuss it later.
Well, what we figured was if we talk about the winner each time, it's going to get really boring. So we're going to kind of break down the loser of each category. So
yeah, but this thing deserved to lose, and the Merman's cool. Yeah. Cabin in the Woods.
So the next one is the Dragon Snake from Empire Strikes Back versus the Smart Sharks from Deep Blue Sea.
Can you just give someone a little bit of a visual journey of what that dragon snake is? Because first off, I know this monster, but I had never heard this term.
Yeah, so I went hunting on Wikipedia, and
did you say Wookie?
Yeah, Wikipedia. And this sea beast is from Lagoon Beast is from Empire Strikes Back when Luke crashes his what do you call it? No, it's not an X-Wing. His X-Wing into a swamp in Dagobah. He gets out and swims he swims out of the, whatever it is, lagoon. He gets to land. R2-D2 follows him, but something comes out of nowhere and swallows R2-D2 whole. And you're like, holy crap, a monster that's large enough to swallow an entire droid whole just ate him. But then the creature must have been like, yuck. And then the creature just goes like a goblin and spits R2 a very, very, very far distance into the woods.
That was like 60, 70 feet forward, but it was on an arc, right? So it could have been almost twice that distance.
This is a massive monster. And it's smart enough to know, I don't like droids.
Yeah, there's no protein in this.
So, I respect it. I'm like, you know what, guy? You're not just gonna waste a perfectly fine droid. And I like the fact that you see the back of it. And it also, I found out that it battles swamp slugs on Dagobah.
So, if this thing had a goal, would it be to eat droids and swamp slugs?
Basically.
And if the Smart Sharks from Deep Blue Sea had a goal, would it be to
Escape.
eat floating science team members? Eat floating research facility science team members?
Yep.
And then escape, I suppose?
Yep.
Okay. Just trying to compartmentalize myself for the rubric. I'll be doing calculations.
They wanted revenge too. I think they were kind of led by revenge, those sharks.
Right. I mean, they might have just been decidedly mean. They could have been dickheads. They were smart.
Yeah, they were jerks.
They could choose that. Whereas this thing. So, well, I'm going to hold off. Who wins this?
Well, I think it's got to be the smart sharks.
It's hands down.
Yeah.
I mean,
because what I appreciate about this dragon snake is that you never really see it, and it's a good visual, and it really helps build the world of Dagobah as like a dangerous place, but you just see its back. So
this is a slow lumbering creature.
Yeah. It's just, and it never pops up ever again. They're hanging by the swamp all the time. Yoda's not worried
to me,
about
this
it.
is just to me, this is almost an animal. It's just an animal that can pose a viable threat if it is crossed.
If you swim in the lagoons, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not swimming in swamps when I go camping. Like, if it's just some murky thing, like, that looks like the Swamp of Sadness in Neverending Story, like some black bylus, I'm not swimming in that.
Yeah, bog water's not safe.
This creature almost struck me as kind of more of an ecological script writing gag than a monster, because this thing, it was more of an obstacle or a hazard. This is like when Indiana Jones encounters quicksand in Temple of Doom than when Gypsy Danger encounters that gorilla-like kaiju.
Yeah.
It's something that needs to be overcome, that is inconvenient, that yes, it's dangerous, but this is not something that has a decided menace. Once you know it's there, it's just something you deal with.
Yeah, there is no menace to it. It could be named Hank.
Right. Now, granted, when Luke was swimming not knowing about it, it was very dangerous, right?
Yeah.
At that point, it was if it had noticed him earlier, it could have gotten him, and maybe that would have been the end of the trilogy, right? It would have ended on part 2 in the first third. But again, it's just a hazard. It's almost like tripping and falling into a chasm. That's how I viewed this creature.
Gotcha. And so it's cool. It has a nice looking back, but we got to move on.
Yeah, great effects piece, by the way, for 1983, was it?
That was Return of the Jedi. I think it was either Star Wars of 77.
80?
Yeah, 80, 81, something like that.
But so yeah, when you just see it's like its back, that kind of carapace in the water, like, God, I gotta hand it back to those movies. They had such great effects. Even the non-LucasArts things, like that was a great effect.
I would say that
was that Henson?
I think, yeah, that was Henson. And I would say the greatest effect that I think is when the Rancor eats the Gamorrean guard. I've never seen a better practical effect in my life.
Oh God, that's amazing. That's amazing. When it picks that thing up back then.
If the Rancor was a sea beast, it would win.
It would. Period. And in fact, we're gonna touch on an almost Rancor-like sea beast later.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go watch some Rancor clips, and we're gonna do some research about where the mist took place, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. John, oh my gosh.
What are you oh my goshing?
Cold water.
Oh, that was my mistake. It's cold skin.
Oh, cold skin.
Cold skin.
Cold octopus. Deleted scene.
Cold octopus.
Cold skin. That's an appropriate name, because I would be miserable on that island by that lighthouse.
Yeah, we mentioned the movie earlier. We just took a break. We watched the trailer, which is on YouTube, for Cold Skin, which has Ray Stevenson, and seems to be Lovecraftian themed, about kind of deep ones, raiding. a lighthouse island in, I don't know, 100 years ago. But looks pretty cool, right?
I'll add the trailer to the post. So if you're listening to this, just go to Movies, Films, and Flicks and watch the thing there. Or go to YouTube.
And we're all about obscure horror movies. I didn't know about this until one of the admins for a huge Facebook horror page had pointed it out directly to me with a link. And I'm just thinking, what is this that I haven't heard of? How could it matter? And then by that same account, I send you this thing and you're probably thinking, oh, well, maybe it's good. And dude, this looks serious.
They don't make, it's not, I'm not going to call it a B movie, right? They don't make movies like this too much anymore.
You know why? Because they are not making this to appeal to huge audiences. They are making this to do honor to a story or an idea that they had, and it didn't get glitzy. And so I'm a little worried for its official release. I don't know if this will hit American theaters on a standard release schedule or if it'll be VOD'd as you suggested. But either way, when this does come out, don't dismiss it if it's on VOD. Watch the trailer. This looks crisp and gritty and awesome.
There's a really neat overhead shot of one of the sea beasts jumping into the water, and then its feet kind of start looking like a mermaid's fin. It's cool. Just watch it. Cool. I don't want to wreck it. And then also The Mist was filmed takes place in Maine.
Yep, Bridgeton, Maine is where it was filmed, as Wikipedia, not Wikipedia in this case, had revealed. Thank you for the various W starting pedias online.
All right, you ready for the next one?
I'm braced. I'm prepared for yet more sea beasts as we up the sea creature counter.
So we're on to the super large division.
Okay, all right.
Why am I laughing about? I just think it's funny. All right.
Well,
so,
I really want to know how many we do hit. We're going to hit a number that's much higher than we think. I think.
I'm all in.
I mean, in the beginning, I even mentioned schools of piranhas.
Oh, yeah, that's at least 400.
We mentioned First Jaws.
Yeah.
Which is a different creature from Jaws 4.
Yeah. And what about the the orca from Orca?
Oh, good Lord.
I'm just naming
you just said it. Now you just said it. Now it's a thing. But we just mentioned cold skin.
Yep. Cold water.
We're going to get cold skin because of that cold water.
All right, so the super large division, I don't know why I named this category. I'm laughing at it. It's the Octolus, a.k.a. the jet ski sea beast from Deep Rising, versus the super duper large squid. Why I'm laughing at the stuff I write. This isn't good. From 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Let's back that up a minute, because I have a feeling that only our most B-movie connoisseur listeners know what Deep Rising was.
Yeah, it was the 90s film where Treat Williams and a bunch of mercenaries go onto a cruise liner, everyone's dead, and they find out that it's this tremendously large sea monster with tentacles that are very long that is murdering everyone.
Yeah, it's from like 98-ish. Famke Janssen's in it, but this is a real thing. It's entertaining.
And we originally didn't have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea squid, but so many people asked us about it that we added it.
It seems, it's like, I just didn't want it because there were so many more contemporary things that we grew up with that I wanted. But yeah, okay, I get it. We might have a 90-year-old listener or people who just love classic movies that paved the way for those who followed. So yeah,
it was 54, right? So I think a lot of people saw this and went, holy crap, I can do that too. Guillermo del Toro is watching that movie going, oh my gosh, I can do this. So the problem is, even though Nemo calls the super duper large squid the most tenacious of all sea beasts, it wages a pretty good battle, but it catches one harpoon to the eye and dies.
Yeah, I mean, maybe someone was playing the notion, and this is an old movie. They might have been playing the notion that, like, you go through the eye, you probably hit the brain. Maybe that was all it took.
I mean, I get it. I get, you don't really have too much special effects. You have rotoscoping, you have rear projection, you had puppets. So you can't really spend too much. And at the time, I bet you this squid was amazing. I bet you audiences were entranced by it. And I still think it looks great. I just don't like the way it got punked out.
Yeah, and the other thing is that when you get that big, even though the literal squid prop was not giant, it had a kind of slow moving look to it. It would strike me as a very undexterous opponent. Now, granted, it's giant, right? I mean, Godzilla is not dexterous. But then when I look at the Octolus, which is, of course, a CGI nonsense creature, it is totally gravity and physics defiant. It is just whipping around like it is not giant sized. So it creates an interesting dynamic, but of course a lot of that's just the contemporization of film and effects,
So
right?
practical versus CGI. But I'll tell you what, if this jet ski beast lost because it caught a simple harpoon to the eyeball, it would lose too.
Right. Definitely. And I will put this super duper large squid at least a little bit ahead of the non-canon Goonies giant octopus.
Yeah.
Just because that octopus seemed like a nonsense throwaway creature to me.
Yeah.
And this squid was iconic. However dismissive we might have initially passively been by not wanting to include it. Like, this was an iconic creature. This paved the way for future giant squids and octopus in film.
If it caught 17 harpoons to the eyeball, it would move forward.
Right. Yeah. And whereas the Octolus moves forward by clearly telekinesis because physics doesn't work on it.
So, I hate to do this to you, super duper large squid. I'm glad you're here. You are a trendsetter. I'm sure you influence millions of people, but we gotta move on.
Yep. Octolus wins this round.
And this actually leads us to a question from Sean. And who wins? The giant squid, the super duper large squid from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or the Kraken from Pirates?
Okay, for me, it's no question. I'm not going to say, I'll let you lead here, but for me, there's a no-brainer.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you just looked at both of them, right? Obviously, the effects are completely different. They won Oscars for Pirates. And, the beautiful practical effect from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But if you look at their movements, the Kraken's going to eat that thing in 6 seconds.
Again, the Kraken, also physics defiant. Once its tentacles are out of the water, I don't know how it's holding aloft that 100-foot-long tentacle while doing loop-de-loops and adroitly moving around and chasing someone. But now that aside, though, let's take effects and remove it from the argument. The Kraken, so the squid in 20,000 Leagues is an organism. It is a piece of nature that we just didn't know existed because it was so deep in the sea that we had not explored. And it's this large creature that lives in the great pressure of the depths of the ocean. It's just an animal. In Pirates, there is literally a magic device that controls it. Magic comes into play and history comes into play. This is almost like the Kraken in Clash of the Titans. This has a mythic component. This could be something that is older than mankind. This could be something akin to a deity or a titan or some kind of, a Norse creature like the giants arbitrarily were considered older than men. So the Kraken in Pirates, to me, has a mythic, perhaps immortal status. In 20,000 Leagues, it's just a very, very, very large organism.
I'm with you. I'm rooting for the Kraken.
It's like I'm not jumping on that one. I was going to say something about the beaks.
That's a better answer than I have.
Well, would you have? I want to know.
I just think it would steamroll it.
Your answer was, I think that the Kraken has slightly longer tentacles than the 20,000 Leagues octopus, so it has longer reach. It's like MMA. It's going to get the jabs in.
So this is a very obscure, absolutely, longer reach. There's a fight between Joe Luzon and I think Gabe Rudiger where Luzon just comes in and destroys him. Like he just manhandles him. That's what this would look like. I don't know. I guess you can maybe YouTube the fight, but that's it for me. It would just be a steam. I would feel bad for the octopus. I'd be like, yo, dude, get out of there. Or the squid. I'd be like, get out of there, man.
That thing's just going to be food.
Yeah. It's like O'Doyle attacking a smaller elementary school child from Billy Madison. It's
like if Mecha Shark or Megalodon were to encounter it, it would just shred it.
All right, you ready for the next one? This one's big.
Well, they're all big now, aren't they?
All right, this one is the octopus, aka Lunch, from Kong Skull Island, versus the zombie sharks from Pirates: Dead Men Tell No Tales. I feel like I feel like we're really leaning towards an anti-octopus squid bias.
So I want to say something in favor of this octopus. And it is different from anything that has to do with the CGI physics-defying effects of the Kraken or the slow-moving whatever of our Goonies octopus or the super-duper large squid from 20,000 Leagues. This CGI illustration of a giant octopus was the most biologically accurate and naturally accurate depiction of a giant cephalopod that I've seen in anything ever. The way that when it raised its tentacles out of the water, it was almost like it was dragging down along the side of the raising limb because of the gravity until it got a grip on Kong and had leverage and could wrap around him. It moved like I imagine a giant octopus would move if nature would let such a big creature exist. And so for that reason, I think it is a fantastic creature on film.
Was it hunting Kong or was it chilling?
Well, a creature like that, in that almost lagoon-like setting when Kong encountered it, I assume would at least test, if not pursue, almost anything that came by. Doesn't seem so credible that it would go for something as big as Kong, because Kong was way bigger than it, right? Yeah. But
did Kong attack it? No, it attacked Kong.
No, it attacked Kong. Maybe it was fearful. Maybe it was cornered in that lagoon at low tide.
Oh, and it couldn't go anywhere.
Right. Maybe it couldn't get back out to mainland ocean. Maybe it was in there foraging for one of those giant water yaks that was hanging out in that movie.
Yeah.
Or something, right? Maybe it was looking for a baby, and then it got trapped at low tide, and Kong wanders in, and this thing's just there. Or maybe this is where it broods, and it has octopus egg clutches there. I have no idea. But it doesn't make sense for it to attack it for food. But if it was cornered, most octopi just do camouflage. But still, maybe Kong stepped on its tentacle. I don't know.
So are we kind of placing this in the Empire Strikes Back Dragon Snake kind of territory where it's just...
This is a hazard. This is a hazard that comes in one of those bento boxes, though, because it's delicious as well.
I mean, he takes some of it for the road, Kong. He defeats it, and he rips off a piece to chew on.
Like, he didn't just bite it while he was fighting it. I feel like he was already eating it before he dispatched the beast. He was sashimi chewing that thing while he was still fighting its other limbs.
I mean, so I guess also, we'll talk about the zombie sharks later, but imagine being in a meeting and they're like, hey, we need something from you, Rick. We need something good for this script. We need a good monster. And you go, guys, zombie sharks. You can just close your computer and walk out the office and you get a raise.
Hey, you know what's funny, though? I think some people didn't see this coming, though, because the Italian movie Zombie included a scene where a zombie is walking on the floor of the ocean, if you will, and a shark comes by. And so, like, people might have been disenfranchised by what that would look like until they saw a sample.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome. They look cool.
But of course I'm talking about 1980, and these sharks were fantastically fun.
Yeah, they were cool. I enjoyed them. And I mean, they're moving on, obviously. You got me feeling really bad about this octopus.
But you should feel good about it. Again, so this octopus was, for me, in Kong Skull Island, what the Lake Placid crocodile was to alligators and crocodiles in movies. They were the acme of biological accuracy, physics reliance, science reliance, assuming that creature existed, right, in the world. And I don't think that any movies after them, and Lake Placid is not new.
Yeah.
That's from like 99. I don't feel, honestly, like even like Rogue and Primeval did giant crocodiles, but they didn't show them in the same way. They were differently natured movies.
Yeah.
I feel like Lake Placid nailed the giant crocodilian better than any movie in history has before or after it. And I think that this octopus did the same in Kong Skull Island. And I challenge a filmmaker to do one better.
And we left out the crocodiles because we're going to do a croc pod eventually, and we didn't want to talk a lot about crocodiles. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so zombie sharks move on.
So we've covered 4 super large. Now we're going on to 4 vengeful.
Yep, the revenge division. We got the telepathic cousin shark from Jaws of Revenge versus the jellyfish sea beast from Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
Wait, let's back it up though. People may have seen Jaws Revenge but may not remember. Can you tell them why we're calling it the telepathic cousin shark?
Well, the sharks from the first 3 Jaws films die. This one in Jaws the Revenge hunts down a dude in Amity and then swims to the Bahamas to eat the rest of the Brody family.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean,
he low-jacked him.
It has flashbacks to scenes that it never saw. And
right.
So that's why we're calling it the Revenge. And obviously it's going to move on, but I want to talk about the jellyfish sea beast because first and foremost, we got to do a Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets pod because I love that movie so much. And I love this scene, and it's very reminiscent of Phantom Menace. I feel like, Valerian was written before Phantom Menace, so I wonder if this scene took place in the comic books. So this sea beast could have been around for a lot longer. But this is how the scene plays out. Cara Delevingne has lost her partner Dane DeHaan, and the only way that she can find out where he is to go get a jellyfish. But they have to steal this jellyfish from a giant sea beast in the middle of the City of a Thousand Planets. So they get in this little boat with this crazy captain. They go into this deep ocean. They find a jellyfish kind of hiding onto the sea beast like a remora. They take the jellyfish, and the sea beast is like, yo, that's my jellyfish. And then the sea beast, which look great, by the way, chase Kara and the sea captain, and eventually they get away. And Kara takes the jellyfish. She sticks her head into the jellyfish's butt.
Right up its patootie.
And she learns where Dane DeHaan is. Valerian. So, this sea beast is more, like you said, it's like a, it would never have messed with them. It was just like, hey man, give me back my jellyfish.
Just a giant hazard.
Yeah. So, I like the look of it, and that's why I put it in Valerian in the City, and I love this movie. So I like the idea, though, that they have to go steal a jellyfish from this massive beast, and then she has to stick her head into the jellyfish's butt. That's a good setup, and that's a good sea beast.
I mean, heads through butts always works, though. I mean, having just come from Africa, we need to reflect on Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, when a naked Jim Carrey emerges from a prosthetic rhinoceros butt.
And he got the information he needed while he was in there, right?
Right. He did. So likewise.
If you need information, you need to get your head inside a creature.
Dig into some patooties.
Now, guys, I implore you, watch Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. This CB scene is really cool. It's cheeky. It's funny, the way they negotiate with the guy to get him to do it. The CGI is amazing, and it leads to a good bit about sticking your head in a jellyfish butt. I love it. I love this movie. It makes me so happy.
It's a cute scene.
Yeah. So, I mean, could we have picked a better sea beast? Maybe. But this is our list, dang it. But
yeah, go make your own podcast.
Yeah, that's right. So the telepathic...
Skeptical listeners.
The guy that's in his car right now going... Psh.
I'm sorry, what is this? Episode 120? Go make your episode 1 about your sea beasts, and maybe we'll listen when you hit 50 if you last that long. Okay, heckling done. No, I really encourage everyone to make a podcast. It's actually very fun. I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah, and it really teaches you to say less and like less, even though you still do it. But
or right. It teaches you to edit better.
Yeah,
to take it out.
All right, so the next one is, we've already talked about this one a decent amount, but it's the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest versus the host creature from The Host.
And The Host is the Korean movie from what, 2006?
2006, 2007.
Okay.
And actually there's a question that ties into it, where if man had not polluted the oceans, would Godzilla and the creature from The Host ever exist? And this is from Dave. So this creature was Scott Wilson from Walking Dead dumped a bunch of toxic waste into the water, and it basically spawned this creature.
Are you talking about a remake?
What?
Are you talking about a remake to the
Host?
To the Host?
No, Scott Wilson was in the beginning of this movie.
He was in the Korean movie The Host?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, and when I was living in Korea, every time I went over the bridges, you could see the shooting location. I was always like, please be a monster. Please be a monster. Please be a monster. But I never saw it in Seoul.
Who wants a monster?
I mean, for where I was safe from where I was.
So with reference to that question, I can buy that mankind pumped enough nonsense into the world and had enough of a nuclear footprint to make the host creature. Godzilla is so big that despite the huge imprint that we've made so far, I'm still tempted to say it just predates mankind. But if you gave mankind another 100 years or two, or another nuclearly driven world war, then I'd be more driven to say yes.
Yeah, and I mean, it awoke Godzilla. All the nuclear stuff.
Right, and in the movie, yeah, they kind of present Godzilla as this thing that predates dinosaurs. But if we didn't know that, I'd say we'd need a major nuclear, killed 99% of Earth fallout. In my opinion, that has nothing to do with knowledge of this, by the way. But and then I think 100 or 200 years down the line, you'd have this menace.
No, I agree with you. I agree. And I think the Host is one of my favorite creature features ever made. But the creature, it kind of comes and goes from water. It definitely could be considered a sea beast, but it trots along. It can breathe on its own.
This thing hangs like a bat. It loves a good swim. It chases pedestrians like an angry, hungry hippo. This is an aquatic Tremors graboid with legs.
Yeah, and we loved it, and we wanted to add it to the list because it's great, but we got to have the Kraken moving forward.
One day we need to do a proper Host pod.
Yeah, we do. I love that movie. So we're happy with the Kraken moving forward?
Yeah, it's just a reality, it's just, again, this thing is practically of deity status.
Yep.
The Host is some menacing mutant animal. It's almost like in The Relic. It's some weird DNA that made a monster.
Yeah, and it can travel in and out. It hangs from bridges. Any sea beast that can hang from a bridge, we can't count.
And it is awesome. In the context of a movie about Korean pedestrians, the Host is terrifying.
Yeah.
But in a world where both the Host and the Kraken exist, I know where to allocate my fear.
I mean, I would never be like, I need to see a Kraken. But for me, I'm like, please let there be a monster ravaging Seoul.
Right. You like to think you get a punch in and you'll survive.
All right, so we answered one question by Dave. Here's the next question by Dave. Why didn't Godzilla make the cut?
Because of Matthew Broderick. That's
why.
Because in 1998 they made Godzilla's kids look like velociraptors. That made no sense.
Yeah, and it laid eggs. Godzilla, yes, comes from the water, but they made it after a T-Rex, Stegosaurus, alligator, and iguana. So it's not.
I don't even like calling him a sea beast.
There's a movie called Godzilla vs. Sea Beast. Otherwise, it would be called Sea Beast vs. Sea Beast.
Yeah, so Godzilla. So in biology, we would refer to obligate and facultative behavior. Obligate would mean that it needs whatever we're going to discuss, and facultative means that it takes advantage of it when it can. I would call Godzilla a facultative sea beast. He's something that's so big that it would enjoy the luxury of water because it would take the pressure off of its joints and its muscles and its large body to be in the water. So it is almost like an elephant that has a large water hole nearby. It just happens to take advantage of it for various reasons. But the fact that it takes advantage of it when it happens, look, if I had a hot tub in my house, I'd use it almost daily. It doesn't make me a sea beast. I don't have one, and so I never use it. It doesn't mean that I'm not a sea beast. I am making the hot tub analogy for why Godzilla is not specifically a sea beast.
I'm sold. You're on fire today.
You like that?
You're on fire today.
Well, we're getting a lot of very biology-centric stuff, and this is my jam. Normally, when we talk about the movie production stuff, you are the sensei, and I am hardly a Padawan.
Yeah, I'm happy, man.
And I just came from Africa. I just came from watching big things in water.
Hey, this is why we work well together. Yeah, Dave.
But yeah, no, that.
Yeah.
And it can swim well, but you know what else? The xenomorphs in Alien Resurrection swam well. The fact that they have a body that's designed commensurate to swimming does not mean that it was designed to swim. That's right. Michael Phelps was not born in the water.
Yeah, boom.
Boom. Yeah, think about it. He also wasn't born with marijuana in his lungs. That also happened.
Did you ever hear the joke that John Lasseter said? And we're not condoning marijuana usage, but John Lasseter.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
John Lasseter said he would hate to take a bong hit after Michael Phelps because there'd be nothing left.
Dude, that guy must have incredible lung capacity. So
the next question is, this is the first question by my Uncle Jeff sent me a question.
This is a thesis.
Yeah. So we're at, hey, movies, films, and flicksters. Maybe this isn't a question, but just a CB's discussion topic. I think that Ursula from The Little Mermaid is the worst of all sea beasts. Most, if not all, sea monsters are reactionary. If someone invades their territory and they mete out their retribution, gory but logical. However, Ursula is intentionally evil. She is not preserving or protecting her sanctuary. She is manipulating and scheming in order to cause Ariel's demise. And I'm sure that this is not her first foray into these dark waters. She is evil incarnate. On a side note, if Kurt Russell had been Ariel's dad, none of this shit would have happened. Thanks for the show. Well, Mark's best and favorite uncle.
All right, if Kurt Russell was Triton, it would solve the world's problems. That goes without saying. But can I react to this?
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Okay. So the original Hans Christian Andersen story of The Little Mermaid was brutal. It is not something that Disney would have taken word for word. It involved blood. When Ariel lost the ability to speak, it was because her tongue was torn asunder and she bled. And when she was given the ability to walk on land, her tail split and again she bled. And it was said that every foot she took on land felt like walking on knives. It was neither morally nor physically indicated to be a happy, pleasant fantasy going towards love. So, in my opinion, Ursula was the justifying storytelling device that allowed Disney's adaptation to capture some of the cruel moral spiritedness of Hans Christian Andersen. And not necessarily because we needed an antagonist. I think that was adding the cruelty.
Yeah. And I guess we didn't add her. Right? You're on fire today, dude.
You're on fire every episode.
Nah. No, this is good, but I guess we didn't add her for the same reason we kind of didn't add the Abyss sea beast.
Well, yeah, because she is just a sentient thing, right? In the movie, she's what, a sea witch?
Yeah, like she's a sea person.
For all we know, her form is a consequence of her lifetime forays into sorcery.
So yeah, so for me, I mean, she is messed up. She is a total jerk. But I guess we didn't add her because she's just a sea person. If we were doing sea witches, she would win.
If we're doing aquatic witches, I want to get Magda. I think that was the name from Legend, that green hag thing that Tom Cruise was threatened by.
Oh yeah. I mean, we'd have about 3 different things to do a whole tournament on, but still.
But yeah, so this is a neat character, and obviously you do have to have an antagonist. It can't all be fun and games, right? And so instead of ripping out the tongue, it was just one of her magical effects. And instead of tearing her tail into 2 for legs, she was just given the ability to walk, and that was a part of Ursula. And it was more the almost sphinx-like riddling nature that Ariel had to dance around like she can't talk or this, that, or the other that made it challenging. But again, it was all reflecting things that were so brutal. It's an interesting thing. I really need to reread those old stories too. Those Hans Christian Andersen stories, they were not pleasant.
And I got to tell though, this is a whopper for Jeff's first discussion topic.
That's long. No. this is not longer than we've had two super long questions. We had Dylan's super long question. We had one other super long question. I can't remember.
From Chris Kelly.
From Chris Kelly. So this is like in our top 3 most wordy questions. One day we'll have to do a pod where we just give the number of words of each of our longest listener questions. I like a good thesis though. From time to time.
I don't think Kurt Russell has ever been a bad dad in a movie.
Well, he was a Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2.
Oh, dang it.
But before that, well, he wasn't exactly like a poster father and overboard, but it was all coming from... But he was very redeemed. He ended up in a wonderful place, and he still won the woman that he was cheating.
Yeah, that's crazy. Kurt Russell's so rakish that he can win over someone that he's convincing he's married to.
Jawline and that smile and all that hair he still has.
He would know what
He's like 30 years older than me. He has twice the hair. Oh yeah, it's just
he shaves that stuff and it grows back like Santa Claus. But
it's like an Interview with a Vampire when she cuts off all her hair.
Oh yeah.
And it grows back right away and she screams. And then 10 years later she did bring it on.
Kurt Russell just gives all his hair to charity every day.
He does Locks for Love daily. His hair grows 8 inches a day.
He's a great man. All right, so we're moving on. We got the expense division. Expensive
Do
division.
we mean
expensive. I'm sorry. Expensive.
Like budgetary or property damage?
I think the budgets of these movies were the budgets of these films were huge. So it's the expensive division.
All right, what's an example of an expensive movie?
Well, let me tell you these two right now. We have the Open Sea Killer, aka Long Ton Gooberfish, from Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace, versus the Sea Eater from Waterworld. So
I gotta stop you right there. Is the long-tongued gooberfish your own creation?
No. In the movie, little Jar Jar's going, "Gooberfish! It's a long-tongued gooberfish!"
He said that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Jesus.
Yeah, and so here's what we're getting to. I love the Sea Eater, and I've written multiple posts about it. I broke down everything that could happen about the Sea Eater. But at the end of the day, it's basically just used for food.
Yep.
We can't celebrate it's duped. It's the Baxter of sea monsters.
It's not an adept hunter.
No, it's not. It looks cool, but it also explodes really easy. Did you notice that? He shoots two.
Those harpoons seem to have C4 charges on them.
And there was no explosions on those things. So from the inside, you could blow it up. It looks cool. It's just it's all bark, no bite. Because it literally doesn't bite Costner. He swallows it.
Which was lucky on Costner's part.
Yeah, so any sea beast that is used for lunch, I can't support.
Nope.
So.
No, yeah. Whereas that other one, the long tongue thing, that was a good adroit hunter.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very successful. I mean, it gets tunnel vision once it eyes its prey, but its tactics are sound, and technically, it succeeded in its mission. But something happened.
Well, then something else just succeeded in its mission.
And I guess we'll cover that later when we go for it. But yeah, I mean, we're happy with long-tongued gooberfish taking out the Sea Eater.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. And we have one more question from Donnie, and it's, why don't they do a modern-day remake for Moby Dick? If they were to do a modern Moby Dick, who should direct it so it isn't lost in the superhero shuffle? Who should be cast? They should costume design some killer rugged seafaring cable knit sweaters with matching Zissou-style hats. Just don't let Marky Mark read for the part of Ishmael. Too bad Danny Day-Lewis retired because he would be an awesome Captain Ahab. And I thought a lot about this because his question is, how do you make a movie that doesn't get lost in the superhero shuffle? That people aren't just like, I'm going to go see a superhero movie instead. So I was thinking about they made In the Heart of the Sea, which is basically what the true story behind Moby Dick. And that really got lost no one really went to watch it. So to make a fresh Moby Dick film, I think they should have Taika Waititi, who directed Thor Ragnarok, direct it. Because if they make a movie about Moby Dick with Taika Waititi as a director, it would feel fresh and fun and new. And it would have a different vibe than normal Moby Dick adaptations normally would. So you need
I don't even know what that would look like.
Yeah. You need to make it fresh. Like, it has to be fresh. And the actor in it, you can't, like, this is tough. I was thinking about who to cast in this role, and I still don't know who to cast in this.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If Daniel Day-Lewis hadn't retired, he could method act the hell out of being Moby Dick.
The whale?
Can you imagine him on set? He just knock over the craft services table.
Wait, dude. The Rock as Ahab.
Oh, dear.
Taika Waititi directing. Wait, no. Chris Pine as Ahab. And Rock
More sense.
What? What is it?
That makes more sense. And then The Rock is like the third mate.
Yeah, and like have it be a buddy comedy with The Rock and Chris Pine, but they just so happen to be attacked, whaling. Well, no, you can't do whaling nowadays. People be like, why are they killing whales? So you'd have to do an adaptation where a giant whale just attacks them off the coast of New Zealand, and then they're kind of stranded on a buoy chatting.
Or it's a problem whale. It's a violent whale that has to be taken out.
Oh, it's rabid. It's a zombie whale.
It's a rabid zombie whale.
A rabid zombie whale, and The Rock and Chris Pine have to hunt it and kill it.
So I went totally the other way with this. I Hellboyed this. And I thought, what if Guillermo del Toro, a master of atmosphere, were to direct it?
Ooh.
And then, now assuming that the acting chops were there, and I do love Ron Perlman, but it would be a stretch for him to be Ahab, but he's the right age. He's got a gruff look.
Yeah.
I could see him as an Ahab. I could see Doug Jones as kind of a squirrely deckhand.
Yeah.
Usually the first guy to notice something, the first guy to speak to Ron Perlman, who isn't a standard subordinate. And I can see Jeffrey Tambor as the very nervous chef.
Oh.
Or cook, I should say. Cook. And that was my weird atmospheric, probably under $55 million version of Moby Dick.
Del Toro wanted to direct Pinocchio for the longest time, and that's a big-ass whale.
Yeah, that would be cool. And he wanted to do a trilogy of In the Mountains of Madness, the Lovecraft stuff that he didn't get to do. He wanted to Tom Cruise that, too, way before the talks of the Mummy.
I like both these movies. I would watch both of them.
Yep. I will buy them.
I'll pre-order them.
You kickstart that, and we'll be associate producers, and I'm going to buy it.
I will GoFundMe.
I will GoFundMe for our movie. Go fund us.
I'm going to write the scripts.
I'm just going to be an associate producer. That sounds like too much work.
You can hang out by craft services and just drink coffee.
And then Daniel Day-Lewis knocks it over, going for the part.
Damn it, Devil Day. All right, so this is the last one in this installment of our tournament, and it is the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World versus the Sando Aqua Monster, a.k.a. the Rip Sea Beast, from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Now, this is an interesting choice. We have discussed the Mosasaurus quite a bit.
Yeah.
In the history of both recent and old of our podcast. You've written quite a bit about it.
Quite a bit.
The Sando Aqua Monster has short but jacked arms, and seems to eat things that eat things that eat things, and is very large. Also, it's a tough lineup. They're both extra bigs.
Now, I think I like what you said about the Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus is it's not going to bother you. It's cool. It's in its cage. It plays a part later in the film. But if you're somewhere near this Sando Aqua Monster, you're in trouble.
Like, the Sando Aqua Monster is like the rhinoceros. And the Mosasaurus is like a crocodile. Now, the crocodile does not weigh even half as much as the rhinoceros. But it's got such a big, dangerous mouth.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. Is that rhinoceros taking a sip? Is it a straight up duel? I don't know what's going on.
I would go for the rhino.
I mean, if the rhinoceros is taking a sip, though,
Yeah.
at the watering hole, right? But this is not a stealthy thing. This is a straight up versus movie. So I still think I don't know. Where do you weigh? Where do you weigh on this? Who's your money
I'm
on?
going Sando Aqua Monster because it seems smarter.
Because it can put a sleeper hold on.
Yeah, I mean, it could put him it could put the Mosasaurus in a full Nelson.
Oh yeah, it can put him to sleep.
I mean, if the Mosasaurus gets a hold of the Sando Aqua, or the Rip Sea Beast, it might be over. But I just think if we're gonna go by our non-existent guidelines for this, that we sort of created, the Mosasaurus is in its tank, and the Sando Aqua Monster is very successful.
Yeah, so the Mosasaurus just succeeded at eating a babysitter and a pterodactyl, and the Sando Aqua Monster succeeded at eating something that ate something that ate something that ate something.
Yeah, that's right. So it pains me because I like the look of the Mosasaurus, but I like my Sando Aqua Monster.
I still remember before we even saw Jurassic World, when you saw the trailer and you saw that Mosasaurus jump out, you were nothing but talking about it.
Yeah. Well, just the logistics of it. It just seems terribly unsafe. Wildly.
I feel like the glass would shatter in its gigantic tank whenever it does that jump.
Yeah, I mean they did not think this tank through.
No one scienced this. No one considered the physics of this tank.
No one scienced anything on Jurassic World.
Nope.
Alright, so we got a couple questions to send us off from our first installment here, and they get kind of weird, but I love them. The first one's by Rob, and said, who would you rather go on a date with? Creature from the Black Lagoon or the Shape of Water creature? I'm going with the Creature from the Black Lagoon, because that stupid Shape of Water creature eats cats.
Really? I would go totally the opposite.
It just eats cats, man.
Yeah, but the original Creature of the Black Lagoon was stocky. It killed all the men that were around the girl that he liked, and then he kidnapped her. Like, that was a very, like, bro douchebag rapey monster, in my opinion. Whereas the Shape of Water creature was a considerate lover. There was a good talk about his fish penis. And he also had a very svelte build. Like, he was more of a Timothy Oliphant sea creature, whereas the Creature from the Black Lagoon was, I don't know, kind of like that dude that The Rock fought in Fast and Furious 6 in the military plane.
I just don't think that Creature from Shape of Water has any regard for property. It's cool with flooding stuff. It just, I don't know, man.
The Creature from the Black Lagoon was flipping cars in part 2.
I mean, it's doing what it does. There's no pretense. Like,
wait, this is our first disagreement in this pod. I don't know. I feel so conflicted.
If the Creature from the Black Lagoon eats a cat, I'm like, I get it. But the other thing eats a cat, and then they're like, oh, it's okay. Like, no, that thing knows what a cat is. It knows that it's this person's property. It is a smart being, and it knows, hey, this guy has cats that he's domesticated. I'm gonna eat one and be like, ooh, I'm just an animal.
Did he maliciously eat the cat because it was making noise in the alley, or did he eat it because it was delicious?
He knew that cat was someone's property, and he ate it. I do not stand for that. You are a jerk. Yes, the Creature from the Black Lagoon is a jerk, but it's being itself. It's not going under the pretense of, hey, I'm this cool, sensitive guy.
But I'd still rather date the Shape of Water creature.
It's boring.
Even that withstanding.
I'll tell you guys, if you send us a question, we answer them.
Oh, well, and I'll be honest. I'm telling you which creature from whatever lagoon that I want to date. Like, I can't take that home to my mother. He's a brute. Take the cat eater. Take the cat eater.
No, I think the cat eater is full of shit.
Didn't he win an Oscar for the best cat eating?
Yeah, he did, and it pissed me off. The next one is, so my question is from Dave, and is the Creature from the Black Lagoon the same creature from the Shape of Water?
So, I believe it was supposed to be in concept, right?
Yeah, in concept. But I think their backstories are different.
Right. It's almost like if Guillermo del Toro had remade The Creature from the Black Lagoon and made it a less, as I put it earlier, kind of broody, douchey, murderous bro, then this would be after they captured at the end of the first Creature from the Black Lagoon and the beginning of the Return of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, where it was like escaping and causing property damage and stuff. And so I'd say in concept, yes. I think it's supposed to be.
He made this movie because he wanted the creature and the woman to hook up in the first Creature from the Black Lagoon. He was mad that they didn't get together.
Well, and the biggest reason that they wouldn't have was because of the murderous nature that they gave it in like 50.
Yeah. I mean, that thing had no inhibitions, though. That thing did what it wanted. This stupid other one ate cats.
Dude, that thing, if you were standing behind the girl it liked in a Starbucks, it would try and kill you.
That's fine. I get it. I would let it always go first in line.
No. I'm saying if you were standing behind the girl that it likes in Starbucks, it would kill you.
Like, if I didn't know it?
Yeah, you don't know it. You don't know that. But you're just standing right next to that girl that it likes in a line at Starbucks, and so it's going to kill you. That's basically how the first movie went.
I mean,
if a dude was around her, he's going to kill it.
That's a great death.
Just tugs you underwater.
The Shape of Water thing is more of a god. This one's more of a creature. So I think they are different. I think one is like, I think they're different species, but they're similar in design.
Or it's like one of them is the Neanderthal and the other is the modern man.
There we go. Nailed it.
Because, yeah, like Humanoids from the Deep, 1980, which is basically Roger Corman's rapey Seaman movie, like that was clearly based on Creature from the Black Lagoon. Whereas when we're seeing in The Shape of Water, how cat eating aside, a much more elegant and graceful depiction.
There we go.
Despite some cat eating.
Stupid. And property destruction. So the last one's from DJ, who this is his first ever question for the podcast. He asked, how would the Shape of Water creature do in 50 Shades of Grey?
Better than Christian Grey. That guy sucks.
Now, this is going to sound weird. My brain shouldn't have gone there, but there's a scene where Michael Shannon's beating up the creature and the creature hates it. So I think the creature's almost too, faux sensitive, even though it eats cats.
I mean, Christian Grey was pretty sensitive. I only saw the first of these 3 movies, by the way, and I hated it, that 50 Shades of whatever. But, he seemed pretty sensitive. He just seemed like he was acting hard.
Oh, gotcha. Is this creature doing all the... doesn't Christian own a business? So this creature is talking and on its cell phone and stuff? Could this creature from Shape of Water do Christian Grey's job?
I think that his job was just being rich. I don't even remember the plot. I don't remember if he worked for it or if his dad died and left him $1 trillion business. I don't know. That's a tough one. But honestly, I hated the first 50 Shades of Grey movie so much that I just want to hand it to the creature.
I just want to see the creature doing business in a boardroom. Like the caveman lawyer from SNL.
I mean, what is he negotiating for? It's almost like instead of pork bellies or gold, the commodity that he's trading is hard-boiled chicken eggs. He's like, I want to invest $6.8 trillion in a hard-boiled chicken eggs. And someone's like, there's not that many chicken eggs in the world for that much money.
And then he'd be eating a cat and get ousted because the news would cover it.
Right. Yeah, it would be on social media all over the place. It has him holding up his webbed limbs, trying to cover the paparazzi photos, and he's got the egg sticking out of his mouth.
Cat eater! So, I think you do good. I think if they made that movie now, they probably will make that movie since the success of 50 Shades of Grey and The Shape of Water. There's going to be a movie like this in the future.
The 50 Shapes of Grey Water?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, man. We did it. The first half of this podcast is done, man.
I think that we are well on point for anywhere from 56 to 72 movie C entity references.
Do you got any plugs before we head out?
Just a few. We have the usual suspects who are so gracious in sharing our material on Twitter. We have Isaac Thorne. He's an author. John F. Leonard, another author. Leo Craven, wonderful fan. And also the Last Knock podcast by Crash Palace. I just heard, by the way, they did their Evil Dead franchise podcast where they did the originals, not the remake. They did that like a year ago or so. But I had a lot of fun listening to them talk about that. We've had our fun kind of referencing that when we did our Evil Dead remake podcast. But they're very gracious. They're very kind to us. I listen to them all the time. I heard their whole episode today. They're quite a joy for me. So thank you to those guys. Mark, how about you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone who gave us questions for this. This was so much fun. Also, if you guys have a chance, just head to Movies, Films, and Flicks on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. Just please go on there and kind of let us know what you think. Also, a big shout out to Chris Kelly, one of our #1 listeners and contributors. Go to YouTube, watch his short film, Home for the Holiday. It's a gnarly little Christmas-themed horror film. Short film. Very good stuff. Just want to say that. And also, thank you for listening to this. This is a big endeavor. I've been looking forward to this, so thank you for listening. And yeah, so I guess for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and John, the returning Leviathan Levengood, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. See you next week.